Hello friends, today we will understand what is wildlife management. But to understand what is wildlife management, we need to understand what is wildlife. The term wildlife immediately reminds us of conspicuous and charismatic species like lions and tigers and elephants and rhinos, all those page 3 and charismatic species. But wildlife actually refers to the animals which are not domesticated and the plants which are not cultivated, which means animals other than livestock, that is cattle, and plants that are not horticulturally cultivated for ornamental purposes are all wildlife. Quoting from the Indian Wildlife Protection Act, wildlife includes any animal, bees, butterflies, crustaceans, fish, moths and aquatic or land vegetation which forms part of any habitat and hence an entire ecosystem. Hence all plants and animals thriving without human intervention in natural conditions constitute wildlife. So, all birds, mammals, reptiles, amphibians and invertebrates and even marine fauna is wildlife, and at the same time the flora and the marine flora are also considered to be wildlife. Now, we can understand what is wildlife management. Wildlife management is the science and art of changing the characteristics and interactions of habitats, wild animal populations and men in order to achieve specific human goals by means of the wildlife resource. So, it is basically a human centric approach for utilization of natural resources for betterment of mankind. These goals may frequently be sport recreation, wherein you consider it as tourism or recreational activities like bird watching, but may also include or be restricted to aesthetic, economic and ecological goals. By economic goals we mean something that is lucrative and can mint in money, and ecological goals are those which are specifically concentrated to science and research. Those working in the area of wildlife management are ultimately involved in the manipulation of the complex man-animal triad that we saw before. Their success depends upon them giving assistance in clearly articulating the goals of whom they serve, the scholarly application of the scientific information and methods to impediment to achieve their goals, their ecological perspective and their execution of programs to maintain past successes, prevent repetition of past failures and to prepare for future needs. The profession of wildlife management was established in the United States in the 1920s and 30s by Aldo Leopold, and he is truly called the father of wildlife management. Principles of wildlife management are concepts to consider for formulating management objectives and in reaching management decisions. Principles do not tell the wildlife manager what to do, but they are concepts to consider when deciding what should be done. Now, let us understand why there is a need of wildlife management. The need for a sound, basic, developing understanding of the relations of animals, including man, to each other and their total environment, which we in normal terms call a biosphere. The early wildlife biologists way back in 1800s and 1900s viewed wildlife management as the art of making land produce adequate game for recreational use. At that point of time, every natural resource and wildlife was used for recreation and hunting because there were good thriving populations of each and every species, which we do not really come across these days. Later definitions emphasized wildlife management as the science of manipulating wild animal populations and their habitats for specific human goals. Current definitions stress more on wildlife management as an applied animal ecology that benefits the habitat and both wildlife and human populations through that. The intangible benefits from wildlife management can include all the excitement derived from going to bird watch or go canoeing or use any wildlife resource or natural resource for your recreation purpose and to rejuvenate yourself where we go on vacations and take breaks, or the satisfaction of providing desirable habitat just to make yourself feel better that you are actually doing your own bit for this environment and for this world, and the pride from receiving recognition for conservation efforts. That again can be lucrative enough if you continue that as a career. Now, let us understand how is wildlife management done. Wildlife management is a component of conservation that usually means controlling, directing or manipulating wildlife populations and or their habitats. Wildlife managers usually seek to increase a population of a certain threatened or endangered species by providing key habitat components such as food, shelter and water, or decrease a population that might be causing a lot of damage to humans, say by harvesting deer when they are damaging crops, or stabilize a population so that individuals can be removed on a continuing basis, making sure that enough individuals remain in the population to replace those that are removed, which is in other terms called a sustained yield. Wildlife management can be a complex process whereby a landowner or biologist conducts habitat and wildlife population inventories and evaluations and tries to determine what people desire from the wildlife resource and directs management efforts to meet this goal accordingly. The eventual outcome in meeting desired management goals is accomplished by number 1, going back to the same triad that we have always talked about in case of wildlife management, manipulating the habitat, manipulating wildlife populations or by managing people. Any discussion of wildlife resources must begin by recognizing the potential for managing for a variety of wildlife species. These include all species threatened and endangered and even nuisance or vermin species that people usually consider to be pests. The key is that all resource management decisions are based on creating and maintaining sufficient habitat. All plans should include ways to accomplish the following. Number 1, enhance, maintain or create habitat for desired species in a manner that is consistent with the primary objective for the land. For example, if it is a national park or a wildlife sanctuary, each and everything needs to be protected. Number 2, achieve and maintain a natural diversity and abundance of wildlife species. Special consideration or protection should be offered to resident, threatened and endangered species and kept in focus. Number 3, manage other resources in a way that provide habitat needs for desired wildlife species, considering the species and the entire area that the species occupies. This might end up being a human dominated landscape as well in certain cases. There are broadly 2 kinds of management practices. Number 1 is extensive and number 2 is intensive. Now let us understand what are the differences between the two in terms of the management characteristics or units. In case of extensive management, the budget in terms of time, labor and rupees or money is small. In case of intensive management, it is large. The knowledge of biota and techniques, the requirement for this knowledge in case of extensive management is little and untested, whereas it is much detailed and tested and even reliable in case of intensive management. The management units are large areas with many populations in case of extensive, while there are smaller areas with fewer population in case of intensive management. The goals, that is public needs and desires, are a little unsure and tested by public response only in case of extensive management, whereas they are well defined and based on surveys of public desires in the intensive management. The local data generated, that is experience, population and habitat data and even information on user satisfaction, is little or disjointed in extensive management, whereas it is more in quantity and it can, some of the data can even be integrated into models in case of intensive management. The uncertainty of population, habitat or status of user satisfaction is large in extensive, whereas it is small in intensive management. Prediction derived from extensive management have large confidence limits based on theory and are less accurate, whereas they have small confidence limits based more on local data and are more accurate. The management treatment in extensive management is small incremental changes and cautious, whereas steps in case of intensive management are bold and largely incremental. Now let us understand how wildlife management occurred in the Indian context. Wildlife management in India started with a focus only on megafaunal species, mainly viewing charismatic wild animals or securing their breeding habitats, and evolved with the concept of protected areas or PAs, which are national parks, sanctuaries and biosphere reserves. Initially in India, the conservation efforts and management efforts were focused on to species like, say, the tiger, the elephant, the lion, and the wildlife protection came into being in 1972, and all these projects started getting implemented thereafter. The wildlife management in protected areas was mainly focused on to protection and some habitat interventions for the better being of the animal species and the plant species that occupied these natural corridors. This included water management, wherein the government constructed water holes in a lot of national parks and sanctuaries to provide adequate water to the resident animal populations. Even vegetation management was one of the key efforts. Invasive species management, arresting succession in grasslands, and removing exotic plantations like that of prosopis and eucalyptus and even parthenium was considered. Visitor management and financial management was carried out to understand recreational needs of people and to satisfy their goals from the natural resources that India had in bounty. The protected areas also provided a platform for conservation education and hence created awareness amongst people for wildlife conservation and management. The legal categories of protected areas, as discussed earlier, include national parks, sanctuaries, conservation reserves and community reserves, while management categories of protected areas include tiger reserves, elephant reserves and biosphere reserves. India even developed a conservation planning framework in the mid 1980s using the principles of biogeography, and we came up with a biogeographic classification of India and yielded 10 biogeographic zones with 26 biogeographic provinces. There was also a protected area network established in India. Now let us understand what is the current scenario and the problems and difficulties faced in protected area management in terms of Indian context. One of the striking features of the Indian wilderness is the intimate interspersion of the human habitations that has been going on since ages. We have a lot of tribes residing inside wildlife and protected areas in the country. With the growing human population, the land to man ratio and the forest to man ratio has rapidly declined. The forested and rural ecosystems are getting degraded and man animal conflicts are on the rise, as we read in the daily newspapers. The rapid land use change are taking place in the buffer and adjacent areas of these protected areas, and people's attitude towards wildlife is becoming somewhat intolerant, and hence we see retaliatory killings of even threatened and endangered or Schedule 1 species. And hence this shows that the PA centric approach is not being very effective these days. A well planned and coordinated research and effective monitoring programs have been going on almost the entire country in each and every national park and wildlife sanctuary, and hence we expect something better to happen in terms of wildlife conservation and management in this country. The population trends are being monitored using modern tools and techniques. Now let us talk about wildlife management outside protected areas. These are majorly territorial divisions and largely a non-issue, and they focus mainly on tree and land forestry or rather social forestry, with some very rare mention of wildlife issues. Other areas, if at all, in case of wildlife management, are a non-issue or highlighted only in stray cases. With this, we realize what wildlife is, what is wildlife management, what is being done about it in India, and what are the problems we are facing and what we can do about it.